Baseball. America's greatest pastime is commonly known as being baseball, right? Well, in recent years, not nearly as many people are showing their interest in baseball. How do we know about this decline in popularity? Well, it's because of data. Data shows us that when watching TV, not nearly as many people watch baseball as they do football or basketball, or with its rise, esports. Data shows us that only around 15% of Americans say that their favorite sport is baseball, compared to football's 35%. The point is that data doesn't just show us people's opinions in sports or what they like to watch on TV. In this case, it shows us that baseball has had a decline in popularity. I'm here to tell you about big data and why it's important to us. Data is all around us, and we continue to collect more and more of it with each passing day. But if we're not cautious with it, it could destroy us. So what is big data, and how did it come to be anyway? Well, way back in the ancient times, we used to store information on stone tablets. But the problem with these tablets were we couldn't store much information on them, and they took up a lot of physical space, and you couldn't change what was on the tablets. They were etched into the stone. Now contrast that to today. All of the files that Edward Snowden stole from the National Security Agency in 2013, all those files could fit on a memory stick the size of your fingernail. One reason why we have so much data today is because we keep collecting data more and more than we have before, but now we collect data on things that we didn't before, like location. Now think about it. If you wanted to know where Galileo was in the 1600s, you'd have to follow him around yourself and record his location on your own. Now think about what that's like today. Somewhere in some sort of database, there is a spreadsheet, or at least a database entry on your location at all times. If you have a phone, it's recording your location, it's recording your data. The point is that we've now datified location, something that we didn't do before. So what's so valuable about data anyway? Well, when you have data, you have information. And when you have information, you can do things that you couldn't do before. A great example of this is machine learning. What machine learning is basically instead of telling a computer to do something, you just throw a bunch of data at it and tell it to figure it out for itself. In the 1950s, a computer scientist by the name of Arthur Samuel taught a computer how to play checkers. Now, when he played this computer, he won against it very easily and consistently. But that's because the computer didn't know strategy. So what Edward Snowden did, or Arthur Samuel did, is he taught the computer, he wrote a subprogram and had it run in the background that taught the computer how to determine a random board configuration, whether it would lead to a winning board. And then he went and played it again. He still beat it pretty consistently. But then he left the computer to play itself over and over again to collect more data to increase the accuracy of its predictions. Then he went back to play it, and he lost. And the computer beat him at playing checkers. But so what? What's the big deal about Arthur Samuel losing to a computer in checkers? Well, what Arthur Samuel did is he created a machine that surpassed his ability in doing something that he originally taught it to do. Big data can improve our lives, but we have to be cautious of it, or at least conscious of the problems that could come with it. One problem is that you could be punished on a prediction. It's called algorithmic criminology, and it's where police use data from crimes or the location, and now they know where to send the patrols. It's simple, right? Well, they just won't stop at the location. They'll go down to the level of the individual. And why not? Why shouldn't we look at their browser history, whether they're up late at night, if they're employed or not? You know, if they're wearing a Fitbit, it could track whether they have aggressive thoughts or not. So if you check every box, that means you could become under the police's radar and potentially be held accountable before you even act. Well, and obviously another problem is that technology will take our jobs. Think about a lab technician whose job is to look into a microscope and see if cells are cancerous or not. That person is a living, breathing person who contributes to society. They eat, they vote, they pay taxes, they own property. Now that person might find that their entire job could be taken over by technology or drastically changed. So yes, technology does take jobs, but in its wake it will create new ones, kind of like the Industrial Revolution. But we have to adjust this technology to our needs, our very human needs, because we need to be the masters of this technology. We can't serve it Because if we do end up serving the technology, like fire and the caveman ages, technology is a tool. And if we can't handle it, it will destroy us. Technology will change lives for the better. It will create happier, healthier, more satisfactory lives, but we have to start looking at the information part of technology, unlike we've done in the past, because now we can finally learn from all this data that we can collect, and we can finally continue our pursuit in understanding our universe and advancing our own world.